Hi everyone, this is Cherry Enchantress, and this is your daily dust for Wednesday, August 23rd, if you're watching in real time, but it can also be for whenever you stumble upon it. It's also a timeless reading. I decided that I'm going to spend these last days in August on a pastel journey because I just love pastels, and I'm going to choose decks that bring us to the end of the month in pastels, since fall colors are coming in soon enough, and I may do a fall color kind of theme too in the future. But let's finish off August with a pastel journey, and to start it off, we're going to use Vanessa Samina's Pastel Journey Tarot. And it's just a beautiful deck. Let's take a look inside. There you go. It's got this beautiful kind of rainbow edge, silverized, with little sparkles and pastels. Let's see what we get. Okay, I'm going to take from the middle to get a collective message. We have, the devil. The devil came out, was in one of the piles, I think, yes. One of the piles in your twin flame reading. So you can check that out, even if you're not involved in a twin flame or you don't believe in twin flames. I do talk about other types of love, and also soulmates and even crushes can come up in that reading. So check that out, that twin flame reading. Let's see what else we got. And we have the Queen of Wands, Passion. And the Tower. This feels kind of more of a waiting game than a real shakeup. But let's zoom on in and see what we get. One of the things I forgot to mention about the devil when I did the twin flame reading is, well, it represents the shadow side of the Lovers. So the Lovers card is number 6, but the devil is 15, which reduces down to 6. And basically, it's the shadow side of sometimes very intense connections. And it could be shadow side of yourself, and it could be having to do with temptations and addictions and obsessions and things that you don't have completely imbalanced in your life. There's really no way to get around it. You just got to face your fears and acknowledge the things that maybe you need to work on, or that or that you perceive. There's just a perception that you have of yourself that's not even actually true, and even that needs to be scrutinized, I think, and looked at. Even if you may assume other people think these things, it doesn't matter what they think. What's most important is how you feel about yourself, and you should always put yourself in the highest regard. So sometimes this represents as you restraining yourself, but sometimes restraining yourself in a way that you're questioning, like you want to rebel. It could be a moment of you're holding back and yet you want to rebel. I feel this energy quite often, whenever it comes to anything as far as society, and sometimes when it comes to diets and things like that. You're being so good, and then someday you just, I'm tired of being good. I'm tired of following the rules. I'm tired of sticking to my diet or something like that. So it could be kind of energy like that happens for you, where you're just in the mood to go against the grain or do the opposite of what you know is right. And I mean, sometimes we have to go through it just to see. Sometimes you have to follow a certain path just to see it through, right? Other times you don't have to. You just have to say, this is the shadow side of me. How do I deal with that without actually having to go through all the things that I'm going to go through in order to find out, like finding out the hard way? Can I just acknowledge this the easy way and work it out, with some shadow work? And shadow work, just to me, has a lot to do with with going inside. It's part of your meditations, but like really asking why, when you're in a certain position, why you act a certain way, or why you say a certain thing, or why you respond. Just keep asking yourself why, why is this necessary? Where did this come from? And why did that happen? And it's not your fault. It's not. These things that happen from the past usually don't have to do with anything that you did in particular, or even you attracted. So a lot of times you'll hear this philosophy that you attract everything in the universe. And in a sense, that's kind of true. Sometimes it's very true if you're actually focusing on it. But a lot of times there are just things that happen, outside forces beyond your control. And when those things happen, you can't blame yourself for it. You didn't attract it. You didn't ask for it. They just came to you, right? They came to you because either one, it's some kind of force that's kind of came to everybody, or that even if it's specific for you, it's like some kind of learning opportunity. So then you have to decide for yourself, what is this? Is this something awful, or is this just an opportunity to learn? Because sometimes we do give too much weight to something that doesn't need the weight that it does, that we give it, right? It doesn't need the power we give it. We have way more power than anything negative that can come our way. But at the same time, if a really, really difficult circumstance happens and you have no control of it, then you have to kind of release your guilt for it. Release anything that as if you had anything to do with this, because you did not. So that's the shadow part that you work with. You work with your own guilt and your own sort of self-imprisonment, thinking that you might harm somebody else if they're around you because you messed up once or something like that. So there's a lot going on, and I feel like if you seek professional help, that's a great thing. If you have really good friends that you can count on, then you can talk to them. But also be kind of careful who you divulge secrets to, because this time period may be a period of where things can come back at you. So just be aware of that and be careful. You just don't want to trust people just without merit, without vetting them first, without just so judiciously, without even being sure that they deserve it or that they're appropriate people to listen. So but I feel like you're gonna be able to break free of this. There could be some kind of fear or illusion, could even be something like self-destruction of some sort. But then the Queen of Wands pops up, and this is like your light side. This is who you are, and I think this is the way people actually see you. Whether it doesn't really matter how they see you, but this is the true you, right? This is your essence. This is your beauty. You're very popular. You're beloved. You shine with the brightest lights. You have a lot of passion. I see the Queen often as this particular Queen of Wands as maybe a performer or somebody in the athletic field of some sort, or both. This is somebody who's just very passionate. It's a phallic type of energy too. So it's like kind of going from the gut instead of from the head, or for the higher senses, or instead of being discerning. Sometimes you just act aggressively or a little bit spontaneously, without thought to it, without a lot of thought to it. So definitely when the devil is here, it's not always the best idea to act aggressively and spontaneously, especially during Mercury retrograde, which is coming up. This is the first day. I'm doing a reading for the first day of Mercury retrograde in real time of 2023. So If you're here at any other time, this could still apply this energy possibly, but just know, just take it for what it feels like. There's some kind of, there's times where it's good to be impulsive and aggressive and spontaneous and take action, and then there's times where it might throw you off balance. And I feel with the Devil and the Tower that a bit of aggressiveness and impulsiveness is not exactly the way to go, even if you look like like you feel like it's the right thing, if you feel like it's good for your career or your looks. Let's say, for example, today's the day you decide, well, I think maybe I'm going to get a nose job or whatever because I'm in the limelight and I want people to see, I want to look my best or whatever. I feel like today is not a good day to do that. It's just, it's one of those impulsive things that don't belong in this timeline. There's some times where the timeline is wide open and saying, yes, go for it. It's a go for it energy. And today's more of a, oops, nope. If you go for it, stronger forces than even you are at hand, going to shake things up a little bit. When the Tower card comes out, there's going to be some changes. And so you can feel these shifts, and they can be quite disruptive and upsetting. It could be something that's helpful in a lot of ways, especially if you're maybe a passive person and some aggressiveness is needed to shake things up, to help change things for yourself in the better. So after checking your shadow side a bit, realizing that by letting that out and by discovering certain things about yourself and facing your fears, you might end up shaking things up, which may be uncomfortable and may even hurt a little bit. Not maybe in any kind of way, but could be physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, a slight bit of pain somehow, some way. But most of all, Tower doesn't represent injury. It just represents discomfort. It represents change that we're not looking forward to, or that we haven't gotten ourselves ready for yet, because it comes in swiftly and it's an outside force. It's not something that we did for ourselves, or we started to do, maybe we tried to do, but then universe says, okay, now's the time. It's time for this to happen. And you're like, wait, I wasn't ready. And it's happening anyway. So that's kind of what the Tower does here. But I feel like it happens for a lot of people who may not haven't sufficiently built up the right amount of courage to do what they need to do. It's like being, jumping out of a plane if you're skydiving and you just can't jump, you just can't, and then somebody behind you just pushes you and you have no other choice but to jump off, to keep going. And so then what do you do, right? Then you pull your chute and, you have a wonderful experience until you land. So it's something like that. It's like, it's the universe is helping you get this change going, because it might be something that you couldn't completely do for yourself. And it could be some things get torn down before something gets rebuilt. For some people out there, it could represent breakups. It could represent somebody else that breaking up, somebody that you're close to. It could be a lot of things. That a lot of these readings, because they're mundane, they represent things that happening around you but not necessarily to you, and you could be just a supportive role in this. So a lot of it is observation and how would you react, how would you help people if you saw these things happen around them. Would you be a supportive friend if they were going through addiction or temptations? Would you tell them that they're beautiful and amazing with or without that plastic surgery or whatever? Would you help them up once they fall down? And if they something breaks in their kitchen or something, would you sweep it up and help them buy another one? Stuff like that. So a lot of that has to do with it. What would you do if somebody was going through this, how would you help? Sometimes that's the position you're in on a daily kind of basis. But it could be something, a major shakeup for you. You could really feel the brakes being pulled on the Mercury in retrograde. So just be aware. This Mercury retrograde in real time in August 23rd, 23 is in Virgo, which rules the mundane world. Virgo is all about the everyday ins and out, washing dishes, washing clothes, taking kids to school, sweeping things, whatever, all the very daily tasks and chores that we do. And so this could mean that things just don't go as smooth as they may usually go. So remember, to have plenty of alternative ways of doing things in mind, different plans. Don't always force the timing, but also give yourself plenty of time to leave the house and things like that before you got to do something. And you know what? Decide to take plenty of personal time for yourself, meditations and leisure and just chill time, because those are the things that are going to get you through this Mercury retrograde the most. And also, check your astrological sign and see how it coincides with this Mercury, because some people actually, like Scorpio, which is my sign, they said, oh, this is going to be great retrograde for you. I'm like, okay, good. Thank you, and I read Gemini because of my son, and it said it's going to be a lot of reflecting on your childhood and stuff, which can bring up some, trauma and bad feelings, but it could also be sort of cathartic and help release things that you've been needing to release for a long time. So that could be, it's just like a lot of times it's a blessing in disguise when some of these harsher energies come up. So just keep that in mind and just realize you're going to be fine. You're going to get through it. You're going to shine. You're going to be above it all, especially if you kind of keep that Queen of Wands energy, like that sunny attitude, that sunny disposition, and try to, and not be like so much in your world, but try to help other people in their world, and that will definitely make things better for you. All right, so I hope you like that. They trust in pixie dust.